Oh, look at this! Ferrying is a thing of the past. This is amazing. Hey guys, and welcome to another video. Today, I've got something of an interesting topic. I want to talk a little bit about SquadUI. Now, when the raids came out, ArenaNet finally implemented this thing, and we've seen big changes to PvE, specifically organizing people. I want to talk specifically about my experiences with SquadUI because I do think it is one of the best things that came with Heart of Thorns. And if you guys haven't been thinking about using it, hopefully after this video you understand it a little bit better and just how powerful this tool is. First of all, what are the big differences with new SquadUI versus old? You used to be able to create squads and join your commander squad, but there was no actual representation on screen of how many people were in your squad, or there was no real way for the commander to be able to organize you together. This is kind of Guild Wars 2's way of getting parties bigger than 5 players. It's something I know that, especially when the game originally came out 3 years ago, a lot of people were asking for, and this really does function just like that, except it's, of course, behind a bit of a wall of 300 gold for the commander tag. But once you do have access to this, you can not just have 5 people or 10 people, you can go all the way up to 50 people. I actually feel like that 50-man size, now that I've got to grips with it, the system, and played a little, is kind of limiting. I'd like to see that go even higher to 100. And you might think, wooden potatoes, Jesus Christ, a 50-man party, isn't that just going to spam your screen up? Aren't we going to be in kind of World of Warcraft user interface world? And the truth is we're absolutely not, because of the way this thing scales. It is slightly different to what we saw back at TwitchCon, if this was the last you saw about it. But you can scroll it to make it look very, very big and indeed obscure a lot of your vision. Or you can make it really small and really discreet. And 50 people can fit very easily on your UI if you're playing at least on a 1080p resolution. But perhaps in order to make the game playable for people on, 720p or using bigger UI sizes, this is why we don't see more people capable of being in a single squad. For PvE, at least, mostly a 50-man squad is okay. But I've had a lot of experience with high numbers of players in these squads, and I've got to use a lot, specifically because of the streams I've been doing. Before SquadUI came out, there was the Chuck Garant fight. Now, currently, a lot more people are interested in doing the Chuck Garant fight. This is an open world meta event that's incredibly difficult, has very tight tuning on it, and most Chuck Garant attempts fail. And so a lot of people are now interested in doing it because of collections, because of new legendaries, and so on. But way back when Heart of Thorns first came out, I was very interested in this event, and I ran it a lot of times. I did eventually beat it with my guild, an organized guild attempt, but what I wanted to do was defeat the Chuck Garant through pugging it, basically, and through commanding just on Twitch chat. And many of my streams have been based around this. It's been a huge, huge pain. Before SquadUI came out, I was in a very difficult, tricky, annoying situation of having anywhere between 50 to 400 plus players all spamming, trying to get into my party. And why were they trying to do this? Well, because they can only get into my specific instance of the Tangled Depths by joining on my party. And Guild Wars 2 just isn't built for this amount of high traffic. I'd get tons of these invites coming in, spam up my audio with the ding, 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 ding noise. And very shortly, especially after I first allow people to invite themselves into my party, it would often go so far as to crashing me out of the friends server. So that's the first hurdle of bringing these people in. Then finally, when just 4 people, the max party size being 5 before this update, got into my team, just those people would join on, and I had to do it all over again until eventually it seemed like people couldn't get into the map anymore and we were map capped. It was a huge pain. SquadUI has come down like a shining beacon, an angel from on above, that has made my life so much easier, and pretty much anyone's life who's trying to do something like this, whether you're even commanding in LFG, to actually ferry people onto your map. See, now all I have to do is create a squad, and I watch the invites come in. Up to 50 people can instantly join my squad. I don't have to approve these people. I can set myself to be an open squad where people can join it or leave freely as they like, and they just join on. There is no micromanagement for me whatsoever. I click to tag up and tell people on the stream, hey, you can come in, and it fills up to 50 people. After the 50 people join the map, I can even see in SquadUI how many of them were with me right now, how many of them are in different instances of the Tangled Depth, and then I can just assign somebody else as the squad leader, leave that squad, create a new one for myself, and have another 50 people ferry in. So that's where the 50-man cap can be a bit of an irritant. If, you could have 100 people or even a 150-man squad. So in a single squad, you could basically every single player on a PvE map in that one squad to cap the entire thing out. It would be pretty phenomenal. But it's not been too difficult from that point then for me to, know that I have 2 massive squads of people to take out the Chuck Garrett. And to count that, hey, there are at least 100 people who are on stream, who are interested in this, and who are wanting to fight this boss. And, if you can't get your 100 people minimum in, then you can easily just find a new map. Because guess what? I've got a squad filled with 30 or so players who can't join my Tangled Depths instance, and I can just join on any of them at any time, and I'll go to a variety of different instances, a variety of different mega servers, find the one that looks nice and empty, and then once again ferry everybody through. With so little micromanagement, this has been a complete night and day swap, and actually really empowered me to do a lot of new cool things. This doesn't just apply to me, I would say, as a streamer, and those few other rare people out there who have big audiences. Even for our regular players of the game who are trying to do stuff through LFG, one particular thing that I've enjoyed an awful lot of has been going to the Dragon Stand shortly after all the maps close and new ones open up, and we know that people want to form Dragon Stand maps, just tagging up, going to LFG and saying, forming organized Dragon Stand. And in moments, you just see that the squad get filled up. It has nothing to do with me being wooden potatoes. It can be an alt character, it can be appearing offline. Do this with the Dragon Stand, and your squad fills up so fast, letting you know exactly how many people are in the map and how many people are interested in doing it, and away you go. For guild leaders specifically, this helps you organize stuff like the Chuck Garrett. And honestly, through the way that ArenaNet have designed the legendary armors to require Chuck Garrett kills and some of these new legendaries, I actually don't think this is ever going to be a meta event that's super easy for us to complete. So we have to get used to making these organized attempts. SquadUI has really helped with that kind of stuff. And, well, the proof's in the pudding. You might be wondering, well, how did it go then, wooden potatoes to the Chuck Garrett? First time when SquadUI came back out, we went for the Chuck Garrett, killed it straight away, and did a far more damage to the lanes than I had seen in any prior attempt. Now, how is this possible? Well, because the new SquadUI doesn't just lump 50 people into one random blob, but I can actually choose as the leader of the squad to micromanage exactly what my different groups are. So out of those 50 people, I can assign them into 4 large groups and say, all right, you guys go to this Garrett, you guys go to this lane, and this lane. And I know that I've got equal numbers going to every lane. There are rumors that New Hawk becomes basically impossible to complete if you have too many players there, over 20. Well, through the new SquadUI, you can make 100% sure that there aren't more than 20 people there as long as they're in your squad, because you only select a certain amount of people to go there. There is a completely different experience when you're in a squad filled with 50 people. You press M and you see all these party dots everywhere. You get to know where all these players are across the entire map. You can see your distribution before your very eyes. But the best thing about this, actually, is the idea of using all these subgroups to make lots of mini parties for people. So this is what I did in the first Chuck Garrett fight. I set up basically what was a random bunch of ragtag players that had just loaded in on the preferred characters, and based on what elite specialization or class they were, I partitioned them into groups. So, we had a lot of Chronomancers, for example. Well, what you don't want in a regular scenario before SquadUI came out is a bunch of Chronomancers could have been stood next to each other. They all time warp under the Chuck Garrett, and they just double up on a load of the quickness, and all the alacrity kind of gets shared between them, and lots of boons and buffs are wasted. But what I can do very easily is grab a couple of Chronomancers, make sure all the Chronomancers are in different parties, and then combine the Chronomancers with, intelligent classes. So I combine the Chronomancers with lots of classes that aren't thieves, who don't get that much benefit from alacrity in the first place, or revenants, who also do a lot of damage through auto attacks and have a lot of their own quickness uptime anyway. So you can intelligently swap people around. You can make sure that your berserkers are all split out so that the banners aren't getting wasted across multiple people. And then you can easily tell people, hey, you guys should stick with your party members and go to the specific lane together. And through this, I saw a massive damage boost, incredible results very quickly right off the bats. And this really had nothing more to do with the fact that I could easily party people up into like cool meta comps just based on what I had given to me. And that was actually one of the more fun things to do, just sort different people. The new SquadUI does, of course, also come with the ability to broadcast information, not just to these little parties, but to everyone at the same time if you wish to. And this has been really awesome to see too. At one point, I took a huge squad of players to the Shatterer fight, and, well, you know how it is in the world bosses, where everybody stacks on one random place, and then half of them go AFK, they're all tabbed out, they're watching YouTube videos and doing whatever, and they don't even realize that the boss is spawned. Well, you can tell how many of your people are AFK by throwing up a ready check, and you see 50 different people can confirm whether they're there. You can even broadcast a message out to them saying, alright, don't click this ready check unless you have food up. And then you throw the ready check up, and hopefully people listen to you. We even did some fun stuff in other areas of the game too, just to kind of test out how much people would listen to the big broadcasting. For example, we went to Ratasum and we did like these big suicide runs where we had 50 people jump off the side of Ratasum all at once and see who could survive to the bottom. And the way we timed that jump, well, was through the broadcasting. Can you imagine how difficult that would have been to organize under any other scenario? But here, you just broadcast out in front of people. 3, 2, 1, go. Nobody has to rely on small local chat or a random guy typing in map chat or local chat that shouldn't have been. It's obvious who's saying when to go, and everybody jumps off and you get to have some fun. Now, it's actually the last thing that I really want to talk about with SquadUI that I think's been really interesting about it. It's enabled me very comfortably to just try weird stuff. Right, like, so it's helped me to defeat the Chuck Garant. It's helped me as a streamer, or, you know, in theory as guild leaders, to organize big groups, to ferry people onto the maps, to know exactly what's going on, at, you know, that high-end level. But it's also allowed me to fight regular world bosses and try out killing them much quicker. Like, we blew up the fire elemental just today in a really short space of time. But then it's allowed me to do really kooky stuff that was never content in Guild Wars 2 before. For example, today I went to Gendaran Fields, went to one of the little arena pits that is featured in one of the personal story missions. And from this arena pit, I said to everybody, right, we're going to do a costume brawl tournament. Wow, doesn't that sound kind of fun, but not so fun that you'd want to set up all these annoying brackets and stuff? Well, actually, with SquadUI, it was really easy. What I had to do was, people who wanted to play, I had the squad on open invite for a while. Anybody who wanted to play in the tournament joined on me at that point. Once I felt like I had enough players, I changed the squad to closed and invite only so nobody else could get in. We knew who our participants for the tournament were because they were in the squad. And then all I had to do was pair people up. You know, I just put them all into little groups, into parties together. And there immediately, I had my brackets. I had this guy's going to go against this guy's going to go against this guy. And as people were eliminated, I just dragged them down into one big group at the bottom. And, you know, you had the leftovers, and then you pair the leftovers up, and it was that simple. You know, it had so little thought went into it, but I ran a fully functioning tournament through Costume Brawl in a cool little arena just because of the new SquadUI. And this would not have been something that would have been worth the aggro and the management and the irritant of going through before this came out. So it really has been a big game changer. If you haven't looked into the new SquadUI, I would absolutely encourage you guys to do it. There have been elements of Heart of Thorns that definitely seem to have been broken on arrival, but this thing has changed the game in a big way. If there was anything large scale in PvE that put you off before, if it seemed like too much of a hassle to do any of these big world event things, you would be surprised how much power you now have and how easy it is to organize stuff, even as just a random person, because of the new SquadUI, as long as you've got a commander tag up. Even for me, if I'm not doing anything specific, you know, I now have that comfort of having a squad. People can join on me whenever they like, and I can just see, you know, even statistical information about the general class balance that's running around in PvE. For example, there are barely any berserkers that like to run around in PvE at the moment, it seems. There are so few warriors out there. Why? I have no idea. Warriors are incredibly strong at the high end in the game, but you see very few of them in squads. There are more daredevils than you'd expect for the bad rap that they've been getting. And I'd say probably the rarest thing that I've seen are non-specialized mesmers. Pretty much every single mesmer out there in Heart of Thorns is a chronomancer. And, well, what can I say? I find it very difficult to blame them for that. But, so yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed my little talk about SquadUI for today. I've been wanting to do this for a while. Just thought I'd throw my thoughts out there on this pretty important part of Heart of Thorns. Specifically, I'd like to hear some opinions from you guys in World versus World. How has it been treated with there? Because I think there, obviously, it has even more use than PvE. But World versus World is a bit of a tornado of negativity at the moment. So we'll see what you guys have to say. Thanks very much for watching. Hope you gleaned some information out of this. I'll see you tomorrow. Oh my god, everybody's going already. What? Oh god, there's lag. Oh, go. Oh no, we're all dying here. Damn it. Oh.